All right, y'all. Today we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business. Gonna see if it has BSS for its local search and for its city search. So back in the GBC universe, we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. Yeah, more on that pinned video, home video, somewhere around here. And this is because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got the highest intent people over on the left. We got our white FSIC in a graph there. Highest intent people searching for boudoir photo shoot in their city and social search, so searching on social media and on Google. And that's what we focus on here, BSS. That's what our video is here about, the highest intent people. Then way over on the right, we got our sister brand, the lowest intent people, and I would say people that they ain't searching for a boudoir photo shoot right now. And basically all of them don't even know what boudoir is. I got to reach them through interruption ads, Facebook and Instagram. And we are, that's our sister brand. We talk about BLCS over there. The name is Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. And currently we only work with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ad spend. All right, so now to BSS. It's boudoir search sameness. We don't want to have this, but this is what kind of a diagnosis that a lot of people do have. And it means a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0, can't have that. We're dying a quick death if we got 0. That means we're on page 2 and deeper. The reason that's so bad is we know we have the data. Approximately 80% of all Google searches never even hit page 2. So we're visible to approximately 80% of the market. We're dying a fast death. Now, 1 slot on page 1 Google is also not good enough. We're there. There's 9 other slots. So probably 1 other boudoir photographer per slot. So what's a buyer? We don't stand out. We don't look different. We don't look unique. So what's a buyer going to do? They're clicking open every single link, every single website, submitting every single contact form, and they are price shopping us, getting the best deal. Our margins being destroyed, and 1 slot on page 1 Google, that's dying a slow death. So we do not want either of these scenarios. And 0 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. It's actually a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Everyone accepts it's normal, everyone accepts it's common, but it's not normal. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google search in only 10 days. So I know that it's not normal. I mean, something's broken. The foundation is broken. Now, these 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which everyone knows about. Some people get new gear, new iPhone, new camera. They're on their Google Maps profile. They're creating a website saying they shoot boudoir, competing with us for page 1. They are, they're posting them on Facebook groups that they now offer boudoir. So everyone knows that's just kind of natural over time. More boudoir photographers, same number of buyers per city makes it a little bit harder every single day for each boudoir photographer to get clients. Now this new one is the false belief of page 1 equality. A lot of boudoir photographers seems to have always have accepted that. It seems like every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots page 1 on Google. And yeah, I was slot 8 on page 1. That's some new boudoir photographers enter the market. Now I'm page 2. And it's like, well, that's simply how it is. Hopefully they delete their website and Google stops indexing them, so maybe I can get back on page 1. But no, this is 100% incorrect thinking. This is a false belief. What it is actually true is Google will give as many page 1 slots to whoever wants to put in the effort to acquire them. And again, I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 in Google in only 10 days. So this false belief page 1 equality really holds. Actually, it's the #1 killer boudoir photography businesses that I've seen. So this really holds boudoir photographers back. Now we're able to break through it. Next, we know that boudoir photographer with BSS is a disappearing boudoir photographer. Yeah, I mean, look, dude, if we're on, if we got 0 slots on page 1, then we're on page 2 or deeper. Approximately 80% of the market's never even seen us. We're disappearing a fast death, or we're dying a fast death. And if we got 1 slot on page 1, we look the same as everyone else. We're dying a slow death. In both cases, being a disappearing boudoir photographer is actually it is actually a precursor, kind of a warning signal to our boudoir photography business will eventually disappear as well. That it's a signal that we're going down that path. But luckily, we now have a solution. We have discovered through rigorous testing that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S cubed methodology. Works exactly as it says. Social search saturation. We saturate social search with the highest boudoir buyer intent keywords. So we show up there for those searches. And doing this kind of like the backside of the Andes Mountains, where the snow on top melts into small streams, small rivers. That's social search saturation. And then it all flows into the large Amazon River. And that's page one of Google search. But we got to do the right stuff, saturate social search first to have any chance of being page one of Google search and like having a ton of links there. Now, this is the only solution I've seen for boudoir photographers that can actually, they can actually successfully compete against market saturation and still allow boudoir photography business to grow in relatively fast time. Where the only other option is having a large, well-known brand, but that doesn't satisfy the relatively fast time requirement because that takes minimum 5 to 10 years. And actually, SQ methodology is one of the things I've seen is I believe it can increase the speed of actually achieving a large, well-known brand by my estimate is 8x. So that imagine using this, having the large, well-known brand, but still utilizing SQ methodology, basically be unbeatable. So here's an example here of successfully fighting against market saturation. Let's say we're in San Francisco, there's a million boudoir photographers, we're one of them. Everyone's got their website, saying they shoot boudoir. So everyone's trying to compete page one on Google. And as a result, like, dude, this competition is insane. We got to crank SQ methodology up to the max to have any shot at competing in this marketplace. So we do that, and let's say we do it for all the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords across social search. And so what we do is, let's say we're able to take up the first 300 slots for all the highest intent keywords across all social search. As a result, that flows on to Google, and let's say that gives us, the first 300 slots on Google as well. And there's 10 organic slots per page on Google, so we're taking up the first 30 pages. And we already know approximately 80% of buyers ain't even ever hitting page 2. So, they'd have to essentially go to page 31 to find our competitors. So basically, anywhere any boudoir buyer looks, social search or Google search, dude, we're the only ones there. And basically the only ones they can find, unless they put in a lot of effort to scroll a lot more pages. And so whose business will be growing? Most likely ours. Whose business will be shrinking? Most likely all the 999,999 other competitors. So again, this is the only thing I've seen that allows boudoir photographers to have a chance to still grow in the face of more and more market saturation. Now, once you're with SQ methodology, we have page one visibility. Initial benefit, we get more slots on Google page one. We get another second initial benefit, which is every time we get a new link on page one, we are kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one, effectively making them invisible. This is an awesome benefit because we know page 2 and deeper, approximately 80% of buyers are never going to find them. We turn them into disappearing boudoir photographers, and eventually they exit the market, and we're no longer price shopped against them. And for approximately 80% of buyers, we're actually stopping price shopped against them because they'll never even go past page 1 to find these people that we got on page 2 and deeper. And page 1 visibility actually is boudoir search visibility for us. So this is where the GBC universe recommends in the recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google. That's because we're going to dominate, look way better than everyone that's got a 1 slot, which will be basically anyone. And in the very, very rare case someone has 2 slots, our 3 slots will still dominate them as well. Now, we also know that boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So this is our micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness. It is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Thankfully, thank the universe, we now have a solution, S-cubed methodology, which allows us to achieve page 1 visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. Now, my results using S-cubed methodology. So I actually wanted to rank for this keyword, BLCS boudoir. I want to dominate page 1 on Google. I start with 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 on Google. And I exclusively ran S-cubed methodology. And let's see my results. So here we got organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So anyone looking for this, so I went from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google. And dude, anyone searching this term, obviously I'm going to be the one they're clicking on. I mean, come on. So these are the results I got utilizing S-cubed methodology for myself. So now to the main event here. Let's see if this boudoir photography business has BSS for its local search and its city search. So Middletown, Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware. Okay. So here we go, Middletown, Delaware. So here we go, we got slot 1. Sponsor doesn't count. All right, we got slot 2. All right, we got slot 3. We got slot 4. Hey, we got slot 5. And we got slot 6. Slot 7. Slot 8. Amazing. All right, this is what we want. This is page 1 domination. When we got, 8 out of 10 or more slots on page 1. Google search for our highest intent keyword. Perfect. Exactly what we want. Obviously, we want as many as we can get, 9 or 10 as well, but hey man, 8's great. So we do not have BSS for local search, and we have achieved the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 for local search. Perfect. And that search, the largest city close by, which is Wilmington, the same thing. All right, so here we go. We got slot 1. Boom, slot 2. All right. So we got slot 2 here. So we do not have BSS for city search either. So we got 2 out of 10 slots. Nice. And a benefit. So we do not have BSS for local search, and we hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 for local search. We also do not have BSS for city search, but we did not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 for city search. So all in all, pretty good. So if you are a disappearing boudoir photographer, you've got boudoir search sameness. You search, locally, and do a local search and a city search for the high intent keywords. And you got boudoir search sameness, and you've realized now that page 1 equality is a false belief, and now we have a methodology to take as many page 1 slots as we want, depending on how much effort we want to put in. And we actually we see the market saturation, and we see what AI is doing to people's jobs. And as a result, we know that as AI takes more and more people's jobs, the amount of boudoir photographers over time is actually going to increase. Because what happened during COVID? Lots of people lost their jobs, put themselves out there as boudoir photographers, got the website, got the Facebook page, got the Google My Business profile, like a whole big, deluge of boudoir photographers entered the market, pushing a ton of people off page 1 that have been there for a while. And so you're saying, okay, AI is going to take more people's jobs. It's going to have way more boudoir photographers entering the market. We need to position ourselves, defend our territory, and actually get more territory on page 1 of Google. So when these boudoir photographers come in, they don't affect our business at all, because we'll have so much coverage on page 1. They'll be forced to be on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. And we already know approximately 80% of Google searches never even go to page 2. They stay right on page 1. So we'll be hitting the bulk of the searchers, and we'll actually be pushing off our current competitors off page 1 as well. And so you're seeing at 3, the S-cubed methodology is the only way to get you there. And you also see kind of the back-end bonuses of using it, we haven't even talked about yet, which are, when we're ranked for these high intent keywords across all social search, and then that pulls into Google search, it creates like thematic keyword pillars of our brand, our name, our account names, our brand, our website, and it increases the probability. We show up here for AI overview for local and city search, increases that probability. It increases the probability we show up for AI search in all AI search positions or apps. like ChatGPT search, Claude search, Perplexity search, Microsoft Copilot search, Gemini search. Kind of, it's a back-end benefit because we're having these thematic keyword pillars all around our brand. Where, last time I used ChatGPT search, asking about boudoir photographers in the city, dude, it brought up 3. That was it. And so, kind of back end benefits is we're future proofing the business because more and more people are going to be using AI search and basically kind of dominating social search, flows through to dominating page 1 Google search, which is kind of the canary in the coal mine. If we're increasing the probability, we're ranking on AI search, which would, there's no back end number of how close we are to ranking on it, but all these things that we're doing increases that probability. So we're kind of hitting like 5 different birds with one stone. And also you're noticing that if someone else in your city hops on this first and gets this momentum to all these benefits first, then, well, one, I cannot work with you because current plan is only work with 1 person per city. And 2, you have to figure out how to do this SQ methodology yourself and all the time to implement it. And you don't even know if you're doing it correctly. So we have our own proprietary methodology. And you'd have to equal our output to maintain against us if we're already working with someone else in the same city. And you'd have to exceed our output to actually make progress on us and all the momentum we would have already made with another boudoir photographer in your current city, to kind of get these thematic keyword pillars attached to our brand. So it's kind of just this big, massive momentum builder for whoever's the first mover boudoir photographer in their city. And we got our final 6 questions here as always. If basically how many slots you think could actually get on page 1 of Google. Remember, this is downstream of already in the top ranked page 1 of social search on all the social search engines. And how many more boudoir clients could that bring for the lifetime of the business, and then how much profit would that generate for the lifetime of the business? And then if someone else went with me first and is it possible you get kicked off page 1 Google search and get relegated to page 2 or page 3? How much would that increase or decrease the probability to get buyers over your business lifetime? How many buyers do you believe you could lose, and how much lifetime profit could you lose? So if you decide SQ methodology is for you, you definitely want it. This is the thing you've been looking for, waiting for. And shoot me a DM when I open for new patient intake. My DMs are closed right now. Hospital is closed, but when I do open the hospital for new patient intake, shoot me a DM and we will see if you qualify.